Round 4 for the Pittsburgh Steelers has officially passed, and no Shedeur Sanders. And instead, they go 4th edge rusher here with edge rusher out of Ohio State, Jack Sawyer, national champion. I know there's a lot of Ohio State fans out there that are also Steelers fans, so I'm sure there's a lot of Buckeye fans that are excited to see Sawyer play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to be breaking down this pick, my thoughts on it, how he's going to fit into the dynamic of the Pittsburgh Steelers defense moving forward. But first, make sure you guys click that subscribe button. We're going to give you guys extensive coverage of every single pick that the Pittsburgh Steelers make throughout the afternoon here on day 3 of the 2025 NFL Draft. And then, of course, tomorrow it's UDFAs. Then we've got rookie minicamp. Then we got OTAs. Apparently, Aaron Rodgers is slated to sign next week. We got a bunch of great coverage coming your way here coming up. So make sure you click that subscribe button to join the largest Steelers news channel anywhere here on YouTube. All right, so let's take a look here at Jack Sawyer, 6'4 and a quarter, 260 pounds. So he's got some decent size, especially for somebody that would be playing outside linebacker edge for the Pittsburgh Steelers here. And for me, guys, this is a pick where the Pittsburgh Steelers are filling their coffers and building up their depth. They feel like the picks that they've already made have filled out their starters for the season. All right, so they feel good about where they're going to be in terms of starters for this year because you got TJ Watt, you got Alex Highsmith, you got Nick Herbig. TJ Watt's in a contract year, but it certainly seems like that they're going to give him a contract extension at some point this offseason. Of course, Alex is already locked up, and Nick Herbig is still on his rookie contract. So Sawyer is somebody that, to me, is a relatively unremarkable prospect. I don't think he's ever going to be like a true number 1 or anything like that, but I think he brings very solid athleticism to the table, a national championship pedigree. He's known as a fantastic leader in that Ohio State locker room, which is why probably Steelers are really high on him, and it kind of injury-proofs this Pittsburgh Steelers edge rusher room, which has had injuries in the past. TJ's been injured in recent seasons. Alex Highsmith has been injured on and off. Same thing with Nick Herbig. And Sawyer's the type of guy where if one of those guys is injured, you can trust Sawyer, kind of like you could trust Preston Smith last year in this 4th kind of edge rusher role. The Pittsburgh Steelers are making it abundantly clear that they want to compete right now. And Sawyer had 9 sacks last year for the national championship. Buckeyes 64 pressures, a good amount of pressures right there, and 9 TFLs. So I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers are getting a good player. Now, his lack of length and overall play strength and a lack of pad level as a run defender, I think, does limit him at least to start his NFL career. But I do think, the numbers speak for themselves in that Ohio State defense, guys. And then also, I think that he's going to bring some really nice juice to the Steelers locker room. I think that he will get along with everybody in this group. And if, like I said, if there's an injury, I think you can trust Jack Sawyer to be out there on an NFL field in a rotational capacity. So overall, I like this pick. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Give me an A, a B, a C, a D, or an F. Let me know what you guys think for today's pin question. YouTube's going to throw an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. And when that happens, take advantage of that time by answering today's pin comment. Now, for me, guys, I like the pick, but, I think that there's other positions that maybe the Steelers could have used a little bit more help in. Safety, cornerback. Obviously, I think they want to get another quarterback, and I do think they will draft one eventually during the NFL draft this year. But them going edge rusher here, I think just absolutely points out that the Pittsburgh Steelers are probably out on Shedeur Sanders, and, they right now they want to just fill out their coffers with players that they trust on the field in case there's injuries. We'll talk about Shedeur Sanders here in just a little bit, but a scouting report from our NFL draft analyst here at Chat Sports, Tom Downey, talks about multi-year starter who had some of his best games down the stretch in 2024. I mean, he played awesome in the college football playoff. That is absolutely true. Very good and willing run defender, plays with solid power to help push the pocket. I do think sometimes his arm length can get in the way of his bull rush at times, which is a little bit makes him a little bit more of a projection. And he says not an elite athlete and lacks bend. He does lack bend. I do think he moves pretty well, but in terms of his ability to dip around the corner, I think that kind of limits his ability to be a speed rusher. Before we get into the rest of today's instant reaction for Jack Sawyer, the next edge rusher for the Pittsburgh Steelers, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time. And I'm someone who likes to go to baseball games on the weekends, guys. I've had to deal with the Aaron Rodgers situation here over the last month plus at this point. And then, of course, the draft can be really stressful as well. But I love to go to Globe Life Field here in Arlington, Texas, where I can take my mind off of football for a little bit and focus on my first true love in sports, which is baseball. If you guys didn't know, I was actually a college baseball player, and I love just going and relaxing and taking my mind off of the stresses of my life and going to enjoy a ball game. Game Time is the official ticketing partner of Steelers Talk by Chat Sports. It makes getting tickets to any event faster and easier, all on your phone. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch, and with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. I will be buying tickets to go see Paul Skeens pitch when I make my yearly trip to Pittsburgh to go watch the Pittsburgh Steelers practice in Latrobe during during their training camp this year. And I absolutely love PNC Park, guys. But I hate the Pirates ownership, and I don't want to give them an extra dime that I don't have to. So with the guaranteed low prices on the Game Time app, I can go see the Pirates play here this summer without giving Bob Nutting a single dime more than what is absolutely necessary. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ChatSports. It's one word, all caps, ChatSports, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem code ChatSports. It's one word, all caps, ChatSports, for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. So I think with the Steelers going with a fourth edge rusher to fill out their edge rusher room here, I think that, and the fact that they didn't take Shedeur Sanders, I think that probably points to the Steelers not taking Shedeur at any point during the 2025 NFL draft, and that he was probably off their board entirely. All right. I think at this kind of value, and if you really liked him as a prospect, especially if you were thinking about him in round one, like many people were suggesting, I think they would have taken him already. But it looks like the report we got here at Chat Sports from Aaron Wilson from NBC Houston, he said he's not going to be a Steeler and that the meeting didn't go well. Well, with the Steelers passing on Shedeur Sanders yet again at 123 and instead taking an edge rusher, I think it's pretty safe to say Shedeur probably won't be a Pittsburgh Steeler at any point this afternoon. The Athletic's Dane Brugler had this to say about Jack Sawyer. Says Sawyer often plays one-dimensional as a pass rusher and lacks ideal suddenness or length for an edge player, but his activity level and the strength in his hands make him an every down factor, similar in ways to George Karlaftis. He had the competitive play personality that NFL coaches will welcome. And I actually don't hate that comparison to Karlaftis. Karlaftis is a very functional player that's a good run defender, and I think Sawyer's going to bring a lot of those kind of qualities to the table as a fourth edge rusher here. But, if the Steelers really felt like that it was a big need to get a quarterback, first of all, they would have addressed it in round one. But I actually think that the Steelers maybe don't want to get Shedeur Sanders. It's starting to really feel like that meeting that he had with the Steelers really didn't go well. The Steelers didn't like him. I've heard stuff from people saying that he wasn't good on the whiteboard, and that concerned them a lot. And because of that, he's off their board. So we'll see what ends up happening. Maybe in round 5 he falls to them and he ends up getting taken by the Steelers. But I think a lot of people were expecting this pick to be Shedeur, and the fact that it's a rotational edge rusher, kind of a backup player here to fill out the depth instead of getting a potential future franchise quarterback, at least to some people's opinion there. I think it's an indication that they're probably looking at Kyle McCord, Will Howard, maybe Quinn Ewers later on today. I do think the Steelers will take a quarterback eventually, but I think if it was going to be Shedeur Sanders, it was going to be right here at 123. So take a guess for me down there in the comment section. Who will the Pittsburgh Steelers draft next? Will Shedeur Sanders still fall to the Steelers in round 5? And if so, if they didn't take him in round 4, do you really think they're going to take him at 156? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Really do appreciate all of your guys' support. Click that subscribe button right now. When the Steelers are on the clock again and they make their selection, we will get you guys another cut on this channel. Really do appreciate your support. Until next time, guys, here we go, Steelers.